learning to paint. How long does it really take? And are you undermining your results by giving up too quickly? Welcome back to the channel, and if we haven't met before, my name's Michelle, and if you'd like to learn a lot more about art skills, painting, drawing, and even a few art business tips, then please do hit the subscribe button, and if you click the little bell next to the red subscribe button down there, what you'll find is that you get notified as soon as I post a new video, so you won't miss anything. So at my regular classes, I have students who come in and they might try a class before they buy it, as it were. They're allowed to try a class for free because I'm generous. Some of those people join the class and some of those people never come back. That's just to be expected. Now, there are lots of reasons why you might go to an art class and not go back, quite apart from the tuition. You might not like the venue, you might not like the atmosphere. Art classes vary quite a lot. They tend to reflect the tutor. So my art classes tend to be large and gregarious and everybody messes around and has a laugh and I play music in the background. But not everybody likes to learn like that. When I started learning to paint, the classes I went to were very small and very quiet and played classical music and nobody spoke. And that suits some people down to the ground, and I hated it. I'm not saying I hated it. It was a lovely class. It taught me a lot. But it wasn't my personality. When I had my own classes, I wanted them to be a bit more lively. So there's lots of reasons you might go to one class and not go back. But something very disturbing happens from time to time, and that's that somebody comes along and enjoys the class and thinks it's a good class, but then they don't come back again simply because they don't feel that they've done any good. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how long it takes realistically to learn to paint and how you should stop being so hard on yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you a lot about how long these things take, but don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this as discouragement. This should encourage you that you really shouldn't be giving up as quickly as you are. So when you've been to your first art class, what results should you expect? Now, let me tell you, if you have taken a pencil or some paint and put it on the paper and made some form of marks, you can consider that to be a success, particularly if you haven't painted for years. So many people come to me and they haven't painted since they were at school, and they might be in their 60s now, and they literally haven't picked up a paintbrush for 40 years. And yet, for some strange reason, they expect to come in and be able to draw or paint anything. Now, I consider myself to be a good art tutor. There are lots of bad art tutors. There are lots of good art tutors. There are bad art tutors online and there are bad art tutors in the real world, and I consider myself to be one of the good ones. However, I cannot teach you to paint and draw in one lesson. I can barely teach you about the materials you need to use in one lesson. It is such a complex subject that it's not a case that you, it's not like typing or driving. You're like, well, I've learned that, I can do that now. That is never the case with art. So if you've had your first art lesson and you've made some kind of marks on the paper, and more importantly, if you feel like you learned something, and I don't mean that if you feel like you learned and implemented something, that you can see the results on your paper. If you just learned and understood something, if something the tutor said to you made sense and you felt they were a good tutor and you liked the class and you felt that you understood something, that you were, that you came out of that class knowing something that you didn't know about painting and drawing when you went in there, and you made some form of marks on your paper, even if it's a big old mess, then you can consider that to be a success. Now, some people might get a good result after their first art class, and that's fair enough. Sometimes if people have been doing a lot of creative stuff, even if it isn't painting and drawing, if you've been doing tapestry or cake decorating or something creative, you may find that your painting and drawing skills come up a little bit quicker. But that's not to say that you will always have that good result. So you might go to your first class and have a great result, and you go to your second class and you do rubbish. But learning a complex skill, which painting and drawing is, learning a complex skill is not a straight line from bad to good. Your progress will go up and down. You will have good days and bad days. You will have days when you're just not feeling it because you're a bit under the weather. You will have days where you don't like the subject, where you don't get on with the medium. Okay, so it's not a straight line. You've got to give it time. And when I'm not teaching painting, I like to go to martial arts classes and I learn various things, including Tai Chi. Now, I've been learning Tai Chi for probably 4 years, between 2 and 3 lessons a week. and I have barely scratched the surface of what there is to know about Tai Chi. Now, my instructor is very good and understands vast amounts about Tai Chi, but he himself is still learning. These complex things like languages and learning to paint and draw, it's never a case that you have learned them. You are constantly learning, your tutor is learning, and you are learning, and the other class people are learning, and you're all learning together. Now, another thing you mustn't do is compare yourself with the other people in the class. So if you're sat down next to someone and they've been painting for 20 years and they're better than you, well, of course they're going to be better than you. They've been practicing for that long. So it really makes me sad when people come to one class and give up. And recently I had a lady, and she came to a class and she did really well, and I told her she'd done well, and she was very enthusiastic, and she asked me what materials she should buy, and I thought, here we are, new student. 4 days later she emailed me and said, I've decided not to learn to paint. I decided I haven't got any talent in that area, and I'll never be as good as my father was. So that's another thing that can put people off. If you had someone in your family who's really good at painting and drawing, and it's like they were always the one that did the painting and drawing, but you kind of like, you'd like to do it too, but you're not as good, and you're just like, oh, you know, don't let this put you off. It's just that they had a lot more practice than you had. So, you know, don't do that to yourself. Don't judge your results from one art class, and certainly don't take what you've done home and show it to your family. And if they tell you it's a load of rubbish, don't take any notice. If you want to learn to paint and draw, you have to give it not lessons, not weeks, not months, but years. It will take years and decades. I mean, I'm still learning every single day. I'm so into paint pigments that I can look at 2 different brands of cerulean blue and tell you which brand they are from the paint pigments, but that doesn't mean I know everything. I've still got vast amounts to learn. If you look at a successful painting, there is so much in there. First of all, you've got drawing skills, because painting is nothing without drawing. Drawing underpins everything. You have to be able to draw accurately in order to paint properly. Then you've got things like composition. You have to understand the materials. You have to learn colour mixing. There are so many things that you have to learn. Lots of practical skills, lots of more artistic skills, and a good tutor can help you to learn all of these. So I don't want you to have one lesson and give up. Please keep going to your art classes. Now, if you go to one art class and, as I said at the beginning, it's just not this class doesn't suit your personality, or you think the tutor is possibly not very good, that doesn't mean that you have to stop painting. You just have to find a different art class or a different way of learning so that you can get the results you want. So the message of this video is, for goodness sake, don't give up. Now, if you want to continue improving your painting and drawing skills, and maybe learn a little bit about art business too, please do subscribe. And if you hit the little bell notification next to the subscription button, then that's going to give you an update each time I post a new video, so you'll get to see it straight away.